Mine is a short message to the Gen-Z. Mine is a message concerning registration of voters and how Gen-Z can use. After all, you guys have got numbers. How you can use your numbers to push for what you want. In a democracy, numbers count. I first registered as a voter in 1979. And for somebody who has seen many elections come and go, the people who rule are not necessarily the best leaders, but the people who rule necessarily are the ones who convince, I repeat, they convince many people who have gone to the polling station to vote for them. There are two things here you have to bear in mind. One, you have to register. And two, you have to vote. It is like a bicycle. The two tires of a bicycle or a motorcycle, the two tires are important. But none can work without the other. You cannot change things in Kenya if you don't register. And you cannot change things in Kenya if you don't register and vote. Registering and not voting is no different from not registering. Although some people have benefited from registering without voting. Why? You know, if you are a registered voter, there are some things such as bursaries and so on you can get. But then there is a saying that unpopular people, unpopular political leaders are elected into their positions by electors or voters who don't vote. There is no need for you not to register and not to vote, and then you are the loudest complaining that the elected leaders are bad, or the elected leaders are not performing well. You register, vote, and if the person you voted for it doesn't make it, whoever makes it and doesn't perform, you will not blame yourself. After all, you did want him or her to be elected. That is one. Two, if you elected a person and he goes there or she goes there and changes, then blame yourself. Say you are part of but the worst person to be blamed. It is better for you to go and register and vote for somebody, and that person is sworn in, and that person proves to be the worst in the history of political elections. So do your duty, then leave the rest to fate. I've recorded this after noticing that the Gen-Z, as they came out in thousands and thousands. So I just want to ask myself, those Gen-Z who were on the streets in 2024, if you are one of them and you have not registered as a voter, then you have disappointed me. There were so many Gen-Z there. I would wish all of them to register as voters. And equally important, after registering as a voter, when the elections come, then use that right. Uh, First of all, I heard what you said in 2024. I heard it very clear. Those things that such as taxation, you did not want the government to pay for officers such as first lady, second lady. You didn't want those positions. We had it. I sincerely don't agree with most of what you said and wanted. Sincerely, I don't agree with most of what you said and wanted. But in a democracy, wengi wape, wengi wape. I can give you an example of what I don't agree with. Uh, when Jomo Kenyatta was the president, Mama Ngina, that time we didn't have that issue of first lady having whatever. Two, during Moi's long time, around a quarter of a century, from 78 to 2000, he was single, so there could be no office of the first lady. We have been having the office of the first lady with Mama Lucy. Actually, the funny thing is, instead of her office being within State House where there is space, she had her office at the NHIF office. But also, I could also understand that because having an office at State House, many of the people on the street could not access her. So Mama Lucy had a charitable organization as a first lady. Mama Margaret Kenyatta had an office. So Mama Rachel should also have an office. Most of these offices, let us look at Pastor Dorcas. Pastor Dorcas, she was a second lady, and in politics, politics is the science of the uh, impossibility. Supposing today we have Rigathi Gachagua as the president, nowadays she's Reverend Dorcas. Yeah, Reverend Dorcas has an NGO that looks into the boy child. She has an NGO that looks into the boy child, and so that NGO, should she become the first lady, it should be every first lady should be given a charitable organization. I've given the history of the Kenyan first lady. In other countries, it is also there. So saying that it should be removed, and again, unless there is a proof of corruption in the office of the first lady, the budget to that thing, because you find that according to my understanding, the first lady is just she's given some money to take care of her staff, and most of her work is charitable, which is given. You'll find that it's a very small percentage of money that comes from the exchequer. We should go for the mega project. But I said, in a democracy, wengi wapi, and you are the majority. You are the majority. Why don't you register as voters and then take all that drastic measures? I can tell you, if you make a constitutional change, you can even make a constitutional change whereby the president is not paid even a single cent. You know, the constitution and laws, it is just you write there something. Hmm? It is there now for the law enforcement and the courts to enforce what you have said. For example, uh, in the White House, the American White House, the president employs the chef, the president employs the cooks, and the president pays for the meals in the White House. In Kenya, since Jomo Kenyatta's time, State House has financed. It has employed. When you become the president, you just place there your staff. You place there your chef. You place there the cooks, and so on and so forth. You'll find that some people, like this fellow who died, I can't remember, the fellow who used to guard Raila. He was an inspector of police, National Police Reserve. Raila used to pay him through his pocket. So whenever Raila was in government, this gentleman would be paid by the government. Whenever Raila was out of the government, Raila would pay him. So that is the Kenyan system. You can say that, leave alone the state house getting free food. The president, if you agree to work for the Kenya as a president, you should not get a salary. You should not get pension. It should be a voluntary work. You can do that. And so long as you decide that, it becomes the constitution. I'm just repeating several times saying you are the majority. And being the majority, you can make those changes. And you can only make that change through the constitutional way. Almost all of what you presented in 2024 was enforceable. Almost all the Gen-Z who protested in Kenya in 2024 were above average in education and reasoning. You cannot be like that Karamoja, or is it Pokot or Turkana, village elder at Nauyapong, who doesn't know what is happening. I, I remember 1992, when multi-party started, there were some Turkanas in Lodwar who were saying, people do not know whom to elect. Why don't you go to Lokitang, release Jomo Kenyatta and make him the president? So we have some parts of Kenya where people are not as enlightened as Gen-Z who are demonstrating in Nairobi in 2024. Changes you can make, even if those changes don't make sense. And you can make those changes, and for you to make those changes, you have chosen the long and impossible route instead of the short and easy way. The short and clear way to get things done is as follows. 1. Register as voters. You can spread countrywide or you can spread county-wise. It is up to you to decide. Number 2, identify a political party and or candidates that are ideologically aligned to what you believe in. I know you'll say the political party and political leaders that you choose will be compromised. Been there, done that, seen that. My age group created YK92, and the rest they say is history. At the height of the 2024 Gen-Z demonstration, I had uploaded videos doubting Kasamuel and Morara. It is there, you can check. I said that my sixth sense that they were opportunists. Many of you Gen-Z reacted. Many of the reactions were from Gen-Z who told me, we mzee, we are going to correct what your age group failed. They also said, we mzee uko na wivu. Utaki, you don't want young lights to dim your old lights. I don't want to say that where the two among others are. I don't want to talk about Morara and Kasamuel, where they are now among others who utilized the 2024 Gen-Z demonstration. I can tell you, even if you all vote in one constituency, even if you all associate yourself with a political party that is existing or a political party that you're going to create, there is always a professional hazard that whoever you will choose will follow what these other two have done. The easier way is to identify youths and a political route that is constitutional. This can be done by registration. Registration of the political party and registration of you as electors. You register a political party and individuals, and you yourself also register as voters. Failure to register as electors is the single most failure. Street protest can only succeed for so much. Street protest can succeed for so much. We will always have Aguambos of this world to come in with a bread-based government. You either register to vote or surrender the circumstances. If you don't register to vote, or if you register but you don't vote, just give yourself up to whatever will happen. You lost several of your friends in 2024. Are you willing to do that, to lose more again? Especially when you have an easier alternative. You have an easier alternative of going to register and voting for people you believe will take our country to a better place. I don't understand why the military had a lap of honor in 2024. Why did they come and show out? I don't know. At my age, I went through many military coups in Africa. I can tell you during the days when I was in secondary school, from Form 1 to Form 6, every month you could hear a certain African country, especially in the West Africa, the military has overthrown the government. The 1982 coup attempt, the then university students were in the forefront. Who are the university students there? We have we have you remember Ruto, Isaac Ruto, the former governor for Bomet. He was a student leader, kina Musalia Mudavadi and others. So let me tell you, this politician, you continue telling me, mzee, unajua nyinyi wakati wenyu, you will reach a place. We also used to say that nyinyi wazee wakati yenyu, because we had in the university, we had only one university, Nairobi University. We had kina Musalia, kina Isaac Ruto. The current president was by then was it in secondary or primary? So these people come and go, and you'll have gray hairs like mine, and you'll be told by the youth of those days, we mzee, sisi tunatengeneza ile Kenya mliharibu. I want to tell the Gen-Z that in the history of military coups, the opposition are usually overjoyed when it happens, only for the opposition to suffer more than the ruling party. If the military overthrows a government, a dictatorship, the opposition, just like Uganda now, if the military can overthrow Museveni, you'll find Chagulani will be very happy and will celebrate. But my history has taught me that when the military overthrows a civilian government, the opposition, which is the first one to go to the street and be overjoyed, are usually the one who suffer more than even the ruling party. In Uganda, Apollo military Obote really punished the Baganda tribe and its political party. You know, Baganda had a political party called Democratic. They had two. They had two political parties. Just like Kenya, we had DP and Fodasil. DP from Nyeri and Fodasil in Murang'a. Uganda, the Baganda tribe had two political parties. One was Kabaka Yeka, and the other one was Democratic Party. When Amin overthrew Obote, the Baganda were overjoyed. They were overjoyed that the Obote, Apollo Milton Obote's dictatorship had been overthrown. But Amin never murdered Obote. Amin actually murdered Benedict Kiwanuka, the leader of Democratic Party. So Democratic Party celebrated in 1972 when the military took over, but they suffered more than the Uganda People's Congress of Apollo Milton Obote. Lastly and very personal, you should understand the meaning of a national flag. It is a symbol for national unity. Yes, you may have issues with William uh, William Samoei Arap Ruto. When Kenya adopted the current national flag, Ruto was not even born. 5 years from today, or even 10 years from today, Ruto will not be president. The Kenya flag will be there. Even to the grandchildren of you go to Pumwani today, the child who is being born today will get to my age still honoring the very same national flag. If you have issues with William Samoei Arap Ruto, go for him, but don't go for the national flag. There are etiquettes concerning national flags, all countries. If your coffin is draped in a national flag, the flag is removed immediately before the casket is lowered to the ground and the flag is given to the family. Burying the flag is like an abomination to the country. You you may have issues with Ruto, William Samuel Ruto, but anybody placing a flag, burying a flag, is burying the whole country. There is no way you can come with nuclear bomb and bomb Mombasa, Nairobi, Kisumu, Lodwar, Mandera. So to show your anger to the country of Kenya, burn the flag, bury the flag, pack a matope, even apply sewage on the flag of that country. That is, in fact, if the military are there, they'll bomb you with a 240 millimeter mortar bomb. So that is the sign. That is the, if you show contempt to the flag, it is the highest. You'd even bomb the cabinet meeting. You'd even bomb the cabinet meeting and kill the whole cabinet than even bury the flag, than even burn the flag, than even soil the flag, than even apply sewage on the flag. You have seen demonstrators, especially Arab, they like burning American flags and the Israelite flag. That is that is the point I'm trying to say. My personal request, never bury a national flag, never burn a national flag, never apply mud or sewage to a national flag. If you go to a military camp, forget the police station, because police station they lower flags every morning and raise it. If you go to a military camp and you see the lowering or raising of the flag, the military constable, has to be in full uniform. He does not go there with slippers. He has to salute that flag. That is why you find even the presidents, when they are on parade, they reach where the flag is, they salute it. That is the seriousness of it. So honor the national flag. That is my personal request to the Gen-Z and anybody of that belief. I want to say another personal request is that you cannot amend constitutional matters through an unconstitutional means. That is, Otiende Amolo once said that you cannot amend the constitution through unconstitutional means. So if you want to replace Ruto as the president, that is your right. If you want to replace all the lead, you know me, I talk to those people. They tell me, Mzee, you don't know what you are talking about. Yeah? What you know the hey, kwanza kuna huyu mtu I don't know. Is he mentally right? Anaitwa fanya mambo. He talks of issues, alafu naangalia unaanza kushindwa eh, and you start even telling yourself that every station that he goes they should give him milk au anakunywa akiongea, because he talks of having all polling stations in Kenya live streaming and whatever. It is quite understandable for somebody who stays in Nairobi to say so. I have stayed in Nauyapong in 1984. I have been to Sarif in Wajir South. I've been to Ramu. eh, and I'm talking of Ramu of today and Nauyapong of today. I know Nauyapong for today has electricity. I was in Nauyapong when Kapenguri had no electricity. Now Nauyapong, which is 170 kilometers from Kapenguri, has electricity. But live streaming election in that place. So what I'm trying to say is that you have a plan. I don't agree with most of it. You can enforce it. You can enforce it. And let me tell you, that is the problem we have with the Kenyan or African youth. You can have your own very good recipe of making the best cake, but without an oven, it will just be on the paper. It is possible for the young people to change things. It has happened before. If I remember, my age mates changed things in Tehran. But you cannot change things by stopping me on the road and saying, unajua mzee, yenye mliacha Moi akafanya hivyo na hivyo, na sisi wakati yetu tuta nini. Yes, you can change if you want to change. And as I've said repeatedly, I don't agree with most of what you want to change or whatever. But it is said that the constitution is the constitution, the supreme law. You just go there, do the follow the required way and change the constitution. Hiyo tu, hakuna ingine.